Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, is the capital of the United States. It is a unique federal district, not part of any state, established to serve as the seat of the federal government. Here's a detailed overview of Washington, D.C., covering its history, government, landmarks, demographics, culture, and more. General overview. Location: situated on the east bank of the Potomac River, bordered by Maryland to the north and east, and Virginia to the south and west. Area: 68.34 square miles, 177.0 square kilometers. Population: approximately 700,000 residents. As of the latest estimates. Time zone: Eastern Time Zone, UTC-5. Daylight Saving Time, UTC-4. History: founding and early development. Founded July 16, 1790. Created as a result of the Residence Act, which authorized the creation of a capital along the Potomac River. Designed by Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, a French architect, who laid out the city with broad streets and ceremonial spaces inspired by European cities. War of 1812. The British invaded and burned many public buildings, including the White House and Capitol, in 1814. Civil rights and political evolution. Slavery was legal in D.C. until April 16, 1862, Emancipation Day. The 23rd Amendment, 1961, gave D.C. residents the right to vote in presidential elections. D.C. gained a locally elected mayor and city council with the Home Rule Act of 1973. Government and political status. Not a state, Washington, D.C. is under the direct authority of the federal government. Mayor: Muriel Bowser. As of 2025 City Council, 13 members. D.C. has a non-voting delegate in the U.S. House of Representatives, currently Eleanor Holmes Norton. Residents pay federal taxes but have no voting representation in Congress, leading to the slogan "taxation without representation." There have been ongoing efforts and debates over granting D.C. statehood. Geography and climate. Geography: located at the confluence of the Potomac River and the Anacostia River. Divided into 4 quadrants: Northwest, NW, Northeast, NE, Southwest, SW, and Southeast, SE. Elevation: 0 to 409 feet, 0 to 125 meters. Climate type: humid subtropical, Köppen, CFA. Summers: hot and humid, average high in July, 89 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius. Winters: cold with occasional snow, average low in January, 29 degrees Fahrenheit, -2 degrees Celsius. Annual precipitation: about 40 inches, 1,016 millimeters. Demographics: population: 700,000, metro area 6.3 million. Ethnic composition: African American, 45%, white, non-Hispanic, 36%, Hispanic/Latino, 11%, Asian, 4%. Languages: English is the primary language, Spanish is also widely spoken. Economy: major industries, government, largest employer, federal agencies and contractors dominate the economy. Education: major universities include Georgetown University, George Washington University, and Howard University. Tourism: over 20 million visitors annually. Finance and law: major legal firms and lobbying organizations are headquartered here. Technology: growing sector with companies specializing in cybersecurity and data analytics. Landmarks and attractions: government buildings, the White House, official residence of the U.S. President. Capitol, home of the U.S. Congress. The Supreme Court, the highest court in the U.S. Monuments and memorials: Washington Monument, obelisk honoring George Washington. Lincoln Memorial, honoring Abraham Lincoln, site of Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. Jefferson Memorial, dedicated to Thomas Jefferson. Vietnam Veterans Memorial, honoring those who served in the Vietnam War. World War II Memorial, honoring the veterans of World War II. Museums: Smithsonian Institution, National Air and Space Museum, National Museum of American History, National Museum of African American History and Culture, National Museum of Natural History. Parks and public spaces: National Mall, open park stretching from the Capitol to the Lincoln Memorial. Rock Creek Park, large urban park with trails and wildlife. Culture and entertainment: arts and music, Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, home to the National Symphony Orchestra. Arena Stage, major regional theater. Jazz and go-go music, deep cultural roots in D.C. sports: Washington Commanders, NFL Washington Wizards, NBA Washington Capitals, NHL Washington Nationals, MLB DC United, MLS. Education: public schools, D.C. Public Schools, DCPS charter schools. Over 100 charter schools operate in D.C. Higher education: Georgetown University, George Washington University, Howard University Transportation Public Transit, Washington Metro, WMATA, 6 lines, red, blue, orange, yellow, green, silver Metrobus, extensive bus network DC Circulator, bus service connecting major landmarks airports, Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, DCA, closest to downtown Washington Dulles International Airport, IAD, major international hub Baltimore/Washington International Airport, BWI, alternative international airport roads and highways, Interstate 495, Capitol Beltway, encircles the city. Heavy traffic is common, especially during rush hours. Biking and walking, Capitol Bike Share, popular bike rental system pedestrian friendly with many walking paths and crosswalks challenges and issues statehood debate, ongoing efforts to grant DC statehood for full congressional representation. Gentrification and housing costs, rising property values have displaced some long-term residents. Crime rates have declined since the 1990s but remain a concern in some neighborhoods. Homelessness, DC has one of the highest rates of homelessness in the U.S. Interesting facts: the U.S. Constitution originally set a 100 square mile area for the capital, but the land given by Virginia was returned in 1846, now Arlington County. The tallest building in DC is the Washington Monument, 555 feet. Building heights are restricted by law to preserve sightlines. DC residents have a special license plate that reads taxation without representation.